by parents of juniors or players who were trying to move to the next level. You know, I got some incredible advice from Jose Higueras, which is so meaningful and yet simple, which is why he's such a great coach. He makes it easy for you to understand. He said simply, it counts the same whether you hit a winner or the other player makes an error. And my game was such a force-based game, particularly when I was raw, when I came to him. And I would punch myself out of matches oftentimes, I wasn't willing to let other players miss. So Jose opened up the other side of the court for me. I began to understand for the first time what other players do and what they do well and what they don't do well, and where you can wait for a mistake as opposed to taking risk. I mean, he basically was the first one to speak to the math of the sport to me and understand how to shift the percentages to my side. So that's a real small nugget, but it's an ever important one, particularly for an offensive-minded player.
Did hitting a winner was it ever a satisfying
Question. All I have to do is look at the rankings. I'm starting to look towards when tennis became an official Olympic sport as a line of demarcation. That was 1988 in Seoul. If you look at the amount of Americans we had in the top 100 in the men and women, we were pretty dominant. And since then, I think we've seen more countries spend more resources and more athletes be pushed into that direction. And I also think at that point, near that point in time, the wall came down in Eastern Europe, and players didn't have to defect anymore. So more nations have looked towards tennis, and I think it's just challenging for us as a result. We can't expect to be dominant. Does that make any sense at all?
Makes a lot of sense. It's for Davis Cup.